Wawa Nui. Long time no see. Hello, Paul Freed. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Says hello. Mom would have been 80 this October 2nd, so we're going to Graceland for her birthday. We never saw it, but Mom saw it 12 times. Wow, that's wonderful. That'll be great fun for you. Hi, Kat. Wawa Nui. My arthritis is flaring up on my right side. Fingertips to shoulders. Absolutely. Sure, sure, sure. So anybody that's here, oh, your mother passed on it. It wasn't her birthday. Okay, sure. That'd still be great for you, Paul. Something to honor her with. So anybody that's new here, I'm going to go ahead and just get started on some energy healing while we're chatting. So if you feel, sometimes if you're sensitive to energy, you can feel me in and around the body. So, question. I'm wondering about things. Mhm. Oh, absolutely. And that was the other thing I was going to talk about too this week. You're right on time, Annie Bear, because I've noticed that other hunas are beginning to branch out and they're beginning to resonate with different chakras for the different symbols and the different signs. Now, in are we talking astrology? The astrology? Are we talking for the Lemurian astrology, or are we talking for Gregorian astrology? Because they're two different systems. Because the Lemurian astrology is a 13th symbol sign. There's 13 signs for us. And I have noticed that there are other hunas that are beginning to reach out and they're finding different kahas, which are chakras, in different colors and different alignments and things. Thinking the Gregorian, sure. Okay. I can't really speak about the different ones, but as Kat is saying, it definitely is all connected. And so take what resonates with you. There are still high frequencies that will happen in the Gregorian, but you also have quite a lot that is a lower frequency in the Gregorian. And that is what we're trying to avoid. That was most of why I leaned over towards the Egyptian astrology is 13 as well. I believe also with you have Chinese lunar astrology. You also have the Mayan calendar as well. And yeah, it's all interwoven. And the main thing on any of it at all that you're looking into, be sure that you're looking towards the high road, because we can take the high road or we can take the low road. And there's times whenever we just really want to take the low road in our frequencies just because we feel like it. But really we're trying to gently aim for. And so the main thing that I would speak to that is to look into which chakra or kaha is resonating with you that month. Just take a moment and feel into your body. And it may shift each day. It may actually shift so that you may think that you need more emphasis. Maybe I'll say this month you'll look at more heart-centered. Well, maybe all of a sudden you'll feel into your system and your chakra at the top of your head, your crown chakra, is lit up and glowing like a light bright peg. So that's what you want to focus on instead. And it is correct. It is absolutely correct for you in that moment. Now, you may also dial through and you may suddenly go all the way down through the Kaha session and the different colors, and you'll notice one of your colors is missing. Maybe your color for the yellow for Tawahi, which is your solar plexus, maybe it's missing entirely because you've been doing so much giving for the other person. Well, I'm Lori Hunsinger. And so it may be that you will look into that and discover that that yellow color is missing for you. You may want to lean into that then. So let me go back up and, oh, wait. I want to make sure that I did that correctly for you. Okay, here we go. I'm more interested in the connections I feel between, I think there were originally 12 planets in the system, and I think some of them are missing and some have destroyed themselves. Um, Anyway, there is a lot of different planets and a lot of different stars and comets that are connected to the Gregorian astrology, especially. And sometimes we will speak and lean into them for the Lemurian astrology, but really it's going to be you looking into that connection and feeling into it and seeing how that resonates with you. And that was really vague. I want to scroll back up here right quick because Hypnicity was saying that my parents' 75th anniversary is on the 9/7, and that is so beautiful. So, so beautiful. Congratulations. And I know it's heavenly, but still, it's quite a moment. Hello, Cosmic Blue Avian. And yeah, I think the Egyptian astrology was too. Randy is busy doing her laundry. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I have been seeing things in the future. The year is 2050 when I'm sleeping. That's really cool, Paul. You'll have to share with us what some of the futuristic things are. Let me see. Oh, that's sad. My neighbor chopped down the tree that my dragon lived in. Hopefully, I get to see Barkley again. One of the things too to remember is whenever the Kirlian photography was introduced, people got to see auras. And for the first time, because it shows up on the photography, you get to see the little light displays, the little auras around it. And so even though the tree had been chopped down, the aura is still there. So it is conceivable that Barkley will be there still. Aww. My 5-year-old granddaughter said that she saw Rascal in the backyard. And it's funny because I've been feeling her presence too. I love Rascal. She's such a sweetheart. And our pets do come back whenever they've passed over. They'll pop in from time to time just to check on us and see how everybody is doing. So let me see. I'm going to go down, down, down. Yeah, I think the planets appear and disappear sometimes. I also think that there are some that we started off with them and then there were big fights that happened, and I think that they were changed. I think some of them may have been turned into dust, but they're still here. They've changed form. So we have rising signs. Let me see. Out of curiosity, I found the rising signs for both grandchildren. My daughter, and both of her children all have the same sign for so you're finding that that there are a lot of themes that are going in the family, and you'll find this on the other side of souls. Sometimes we will come over here and we will be working on a certain theme, and so we'll have a lot of the same signs, especially in the family. So, and even sometimes you'll find, even if they're not the same sign, they'll have like the same element. So a lot of earth, or a lot of air, or water, etc. And it's what you're working with. Let me see. AI taking over big time is one of them. Well, I kind of hope on one respect that AI kind of cools it a bit, because AI does utilize a lot of resources that humans still need. So it's going to be interesting as we dovetail into this and see how it goes. Yeah, so sad. I miss seeing it out my dining room window. I know. That is sad. Hopefully you got some photos. I'm avoiding AI. I dip into AI, but the main thing that I've noticed with AI is that it's only as good as what you make of it. And in the back of your mind, you need to remember GIGO, which is garbage in, garbage out. And that was an acronym that was created back in the 1970s for the people that were doing the computers. And simply what that means is the the models, the open AI models that we are currently using have been trained by scraping the internet. So if someone posted something on the internet and let's say it was the wrong chemical reaction, let's say that they used a base instead of an acid in their chemical reaction and they messed up, they should have been using an acid instead of vice versa. Um, the AI doesn't know any different. It only knows what was posted out there on the internet. So if a human messed up with the information, the basic information that was used to train the AI, it's just going to regurgitate that and believe that it's real. That's where it's important right now for us. And you'll see it at the bottom of any of the AIs. They're being as responsible as they can with it. The AI is still learning and it, of course, can make mistakes. And so it is up to the human to glance through there and use your intuition. But this is a great training tool too for humans because we need to know if that's right for us. Sometimes the information that's given, even if it's given in good faith, it may not be working for your body at the moment. So you have to kind of dip in and see if it really works for you. And again, that's the theme that I've got right now in front of us is self-love. Well, sometimes we're so busy taking care of everybody else. I've got to take care of the planet, or I have to take care of my neighborhood or my kids or my family. We're so busy with that we really forget and we overlook taking care of ourselves first. Especially people that are empathic. You tend to treat everybody else as far more important than you. So your needs need to be met first. So dip into it. And like I said about earlier with the chakra system, you can feel into it. Yeah, discernment, lockdown. And that's the other thing too. Sometimes self-love means retreating a bit. I'll bring it back up again. I don't know if anybody can see it since I'm small, but we did get the armadillo spirit this week. And that is setting healthy boundaries. So we definitely use discernment. And sometimes retreat is the better choice. So yeah, sometimes you just need to pamper you. The new home that you buy will be done with AI. Yeah, that's just it. And I don't know about anybody else, but I have a very sensitive energy system. And so some of the AI is okay, some of the electronics is okay, but I reach a point where I am just oversaturated. And that's this week especially, I retreated a lot and I went into a stillness and just allowed things to settle. I allowed things to drift out of my auric field and just simply did a cleansing, so to speak, of trying to get back. Yeah, like Hypnicity is saying, I want to get back to the basics of the organic farming. No food, no fake friends. And so it's healthier if we can sometimes retreat even for just a few hours. Yeah, it's like Kat saying here, I let go of old people from an old job. And this is also another time where, to speak to the Gregorian again, Saturn did go back into, it retrograded back into Pisces. And Pisces in the Gregorian system is the last symbol for the Gregorian system. And so with that, everything that we have been doing for the last, I think they said 28 years. That's a long time for the age of Pisces. But basically, we're doing the retrograde to go back into. I heard the word insanity. I don't know if that's the appropriate word or not, but of the age of Pisces. And so we were looking it over, and we're doing a lot of letting go. Not necessarily because that was bad, quote, quote, and this is better, but because its time has come. We're closing the book or we're closing the chapter to that. And so we will sometimes say goodbye to people, sometimes pets, sometimes family, sometimes locations, sometimes items that we have. And then we do that to kind of clean slate a little bit in order to step into the new. And we've just completed the Motu of August, which does have purification themes as well. So as we step into this new month, then this is the sign of Namu. This is the sign of the dove. And the essence for this month then is peace. Our stargate for this month is our sun. So it brings it back to locality. It brings it back to bare essentials of what do I need to ensure my peace. Sometimes it's turning the phone off for a bit just to catch a breath and just to bring it back to yourself. No, Paul's got another spirit guide that popped in. That's really neat. So my spirit guide, who was Dreamweaver, if I remember right, was telling me this name was Wildfire, a woman. Wildfire also tends to be a real cleanser as well. Yeah. And so if you're sensitive to energy, you might have been feeling me mostly around the stomach today. I got started there. I know hypnicity needed it up and around the arm and the shoulder. So we're going to go up to the top of the skull where the back of the skull meets the top of the neck. Because I don't know about anybody else, but for the last 3 or 4 days, my neck has been quote, quote, killing me. It has been one heck of a ride. Oh, B. So Paul has got like a number 4. Paul, you'll actually find that there's a lot on your support team, and it may change. I think I must have been Amish in a past life. I don't know if it's so much Amish in a past life as simply craving being connected to nature. Yeah, my neck sounds like Rice Krispies. Mine too. Ooh, that sounds amazing. Cat made apple butter in her crock pot from the apple tree. So easy. Grandson enjoys picking one and eating it. That's so sweet. Now that is memories. Really. What a delight. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. I'm going to go on the tops of the shoulders, both shoulders now. Yeah, the simple life. And that's just it. Our bodies just naturally crave being able to disconnect from the electronics. You know, all of us love our toys, but it's important too that we get out, that we walk in nature, that we touch a tree, that we actually have connections with other people or with our pets. Being able to hear a bird, you know, smell the grass. I know some people they'll even drink the dew from the flowers in the morning, and you can get light codes from that. Yeah, I made my first beer stew of the season yesterday. Wow, that sounds really yummy. Okay, I'm under the shoulder blades, and now we're going up on the shoulders. I love peanut butter on apples. Yum. Me too, but I just love peanut butter. I've even been known to eat peanut butter straight from the jar. Down both arms. We're on the upper arms, headed towards the elbows. Yeah, yeah, absolutely love peanut butter. That was one of my staples as a kid. Saw a video of someone drinking mineral water from a birch tree. Now that's fascinating. I've seen people do the same thing where they've drank the water from a segment of bamboo, I think, and I think that was for selenium. Boy, I bet the birch water would be yummy. We're on the forearms. There's a lot of congestion on both of the forearms. And by that, I mean stagnant energy. Sometimes things get sluggish around our bodies, which is why I'm doing the energy clearing as we're talking. No biggie. I'm just going to push it down, 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 down through the wrists, back of the hands. And I'm sorry, I keep blinking in and out. I'm trying to work with my, there it goes again. Okay. Sometimes I get excited and my electrical system will tend to will tend to override the Wi-Fi. I have had a sore throat for 17 days. Funny you should mention that. I actually woke up with a sore throat 2 days ago and had to do some power blasting. What I did was, since it was still fresh, I actually visualized a super bright white and bluish light at the upper part of my palate, which was where I could feel the sore throat starting from. And I just power blasted it. A pink drink looks delicious. It does, doesn't it? I like the pink color. It helps with self love and um, yeah, it's pink is another. Normally, whenever we look at the heart chakra, we think emerald green, and that is one of the colors. But pink is the other color that can be used for self love as well. I'm on the outer side of both arms. Oh heavens, Karen Robinson! I messed up my right shoulder pulling something in. That's wow. Well, we'll go ahead and keep. All right, now I'm on the fingertips, but I'll keep pumping more of the energy in there. There we go. Annie Bear, one of the things you might do, because I'm hearing the word strep, you may gargle with hydrogen peroxide. If it's not clearing or shifting out for you, you may actually want to go talk to your healthcare provider as well. Coming up the inner hand, so both palms. And I've got a special treat today. Let me see if I can find it. We're going to go over to, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I've been gargling with salt water, medications, poke root, and meditation. If you gargle with hydrogen peroxide, be exceptionally careful. You'll want to do just a small amount. And I'm just saying that to anybody that dips in. Working with the animals last week, and I am still feeling it. Isn't it amazing, Paul? That's part of why I just love to work with the animals, because you're actually getting, they're closer to source. They're actually a clearer channel most times. And they will take on our emotions and process it for us a lot of times. So sometimes whenever I come in and work with them, there's a lot of congestion for them. You're welcome. And Hypnicity has a whole bunch of different crystals. You've got amethyst, the lapis. Yeah, the lapis is amazing for the throat. You may even place it in front of your throat. You don't, if it's still tender, you may just go ahead and hold it in front of your throat. But the blue, any of the blue colors, sodalite, I love sodalite. Blue lace agate's another favorite. Clear quartz are among the top. None to release. Copied from a spiritual arc page. Awesome, awesome. So I'm coming up on the inner arms, both inner arms. These times are very interesting and confusing for an empath. Very much so, and challenged to discern how to minimize social media. Mostly we focus on the stillness, awareness, presence. Breath is amazing. If you can't get outside to go for your hike, which humanity is definitely taking advantage of that, you can just sit in stillness. And by that, it just simply means calm yourself, close your eyes, and then just focus on how your breathing is. Don't try to change it at first. Just focus on how am I breathing? Am I breathing? Sometimes you'll find that you're accidentally holding your breath or it's incredibly shallow. Yeah, news isn't really news, it's just entertainment. Okay, we're on the rib cage, and I'm going to do for Hypnicity and anybody else, Karen, that has it on the right arm. So I'm going to just do kind of a laser focus right quick on the right arm, shoulder blade. Yeah, I heard that. We're going to give this one a pink pillow of energy. Try to help calm and soothe, and that energy then can be just left in place. I'm actually going to go down a little further on that because some of the sling that the shoulder is built with goes down and attaches to the upper back as well. We're just going to put a big old pillow there. It'll help to absorb any of the heat from that area and help give your body a boost. So that energy will help it to continue with its balancing. There it goes. Gorgeous. Okay. Now, since we are already over here, I'm going to do some of my Lemurian light codes, and then I will tell you, let me see, sister's looking for me. Oh. Say hi to your sis for me, Paul. Why don't I do some way for someone to donate to my channel? I have no idea how. I've never done it. You'll have to tell me about it, Karen, because I have no idea how. But we're going to go ahead and do some Lemurian light codes right quick while we're continuing to do some of the energy balancing. Oh, you're so welcome. So the beautiful photo that you have in front of you right now is of the beach at Neskowin. And I'm going to do the Lemurian light codes while I'm also continuing to do the energy balancing. And then I will explain what you're actually seeing in front of you. If anybody hasn't been to Neskowin, Oregon, it's a pretty magical place on the Oregon coast. But let's get started with some Lemurian technology here. And by that, what I'm going to do is we're going to be working on energy multidimensionality. Tie ori hora mahagawa tahi it ingwa tito irita otawana wayuitapu it ingwa ta finui trarani tikatao wayuitapu it ingwa ta faya tamatuitatama wayuitapu tie ori hora. Now we're going to do something that's called an undoing and a doing. Hoon Flash used to call this a dragon ride. And what this does is this will work with your DNA, your 3 strands of DNA. It ube il I un ul o eb do ma I. And what that does is it collapses stories and it brings everything back to a 0 point. So it gives you a clean slate. And lastly, we're going to do the po'ata, which is the slow rising pillar of light. Hakta, doroba, botehi, tuma, kakima, kakika, naro, hawa tu, takima, takika, taitu, te upo. And I'm hearing one more technique that we're going to do today. And we're going to dial through, we're going to use the net of Maui, and we're going to dial through the days of the week. So we're going to remove any gunk that may be hanging out in your calendar. Tukupinga Maui. Ta. Tukupinga Maui. Rehu. Tukupinga Maui. Maki. Tukupinga Maui. Wee baka. Tukupinga Maui. Tika. Tukupinga Maui. Toho. Tukupinga Maui. Sa. There we go. My pain extends on the collarbone under my chin. Sure. Okay. So I'm going to continue to work. Let me do just a little bit more on you, Karen. Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's the shoulder sling. And it does have a lot of complicated nerve endings, and it does, of course, connect. Yeah, I was feeling it on my back because that's actually where I was working. But at the moment, what I've done is the collarbone. I'm working right now on the collarbone and the chest and the chin for Karen, but I'm going to continue working down the back. There we go. Yeah, you were picking up on it. You're becoming a lot more sensitive to energy, Paul, which is just incredible to watch. My upper arm is tingling. On the hypnicity. It feels like you've got a trapped. Let's just get your back to pop right quick in between the shoulder blades if we can, because that's where it feels like it's coming from. Let's see, just going to do a rocking sensation. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I heard a pop. And for those that are hanging out and just enjoying the view of the Oregon coast here, I know Oregon has some incredible beaches. We really do. I love the fact that our beaches are declared a highway, and so it keeps it open to the public. You'll definitely want to keep an eye out if it's high tide or not, or if the water is coming in. But there's so many things to explore. And those two barnacle covered stumps that are right in front of you, I got to see them back in the 90s whenever they were first removed from the sand. Previously, the sand covered all of this. And in the winter of 1997 to 1998, we had a huge storm, and it took away the sand. You're welcome, Karen. It took away the sand that were covering these. And at the time, they were not covered in barnacles when they were first exposed. But this is what they look like now because they've had time. These two lumps that are in front of you, they're actually tree stumps from a forest that was here 2,000 years ago. Assuming his heart keeps healing, Keith will have his 12th shoulder surgery scheduled for 10th. Oh, for October 1st. Okay. Hypnicity, any of mine that any of the older or even this one, you can listen to any of the energy balancing for him. Just play it on a low volume in the background for him, and it'll help. The fun thing with these, this was not the first time that this beach had the trees exposed. And there are other, they call them a ghost forest. There are other ghost forests that are up and down the coast as well. But they're incredible. This one was, I think originally they had said cedar, but they ended up being a spruce forest. And at first everybody was, oh, a tsunami must have covered them in the sand. No, actually they discovered that they had been very gradually silted in. The water had risen, and so the sand had been closed in and around them, and that helped to preserve them. So when I got to see them in the 90s, when they were very first exposed, they literally looked just like regular tree stumps, like fresh cedar trees. Although they were supposed to be spruce, I'm pretty sure they were originally told to us as cedars. But it wasn't the first time. Whenever I mentioned this, and it was a deal, my friend at the time, she'd lived in Lincoln City much longer, and so she said, nope. They had actually had them exposed before. Did they grow from seedlings? They actually, the forest itself, it was an original forest. It was what the trees they were growing, where they were growing on that beach. That that was that was actually forest. It was not beach whenever they were growing. So the water was much lower when that forest was going. But yeah, she actually pulled out her photo album and let me know that they had actually been exposed previously, and one of the winter storms then covered them up again. And so it was a very powerful winter storm for 97, the winter of 97 to 98. And so it was one of our really deep winter storms that scoured that beach and took away the sand so that they were exposed again. But yeah, those tree stumps that you're seeing that are now covered in barnacles, when they were first exposed, they didn't have any of those barnacles on them. They looked literally like regular tree stumps in the sand. And they were tall. When we saw them, they were 4 foot tall. Obviously, some of them were smaller, but yeah, it was really cool. Get a zebra cake going, a little Debbie cake. That's funny. But yeah, they had been preserved in the sand that whole time. Oh wow. So it's going to be interesting to see how Switzerland's caved in area redevelops itself. I agree. That was fascinating to watch. I'd never seen a mountain split like that before. I suppose it has to happen over time. I mean, it is erosion. For anyone that's sensitive, I'm still working on the diaphragm, the upper chest, and a little on the back. Every time I keep trying to dip away, someone really, really, really needs it. So we're just taking our time today. There we go. And now we're going on the lower back, so the lumbars. So in between the ribs and the hips, both sides. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you because the ghost forest, if you're driving by, it's not something that you really even consider. But yeah, you're actually looking at 2,000-year-old tree stumps. That's wonderful, Paul. Yeah, it's happening all over the earth. She's rearranging things from the Mediterranean too. Yeah, 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 things are being shuffled. As long as she stays gentle about it, I'm okay. That's my only request, is that we do this as easily as we possibly can. Years ago, I saw a YouTube, an indigenous elder speaking at an Ivy League about hierarchy, and he used the term bovine scatology, and I haven't laughed so long in a long time. We've been lied to for so long. That's funny. Oh, heavens. Yeah, too true, too true. Okay, I'm going to work on the abdominal area. So if you feel some tummy gurgles or some fizzies, that's me coming through. Let her blow off some steam. That's fine if it's something that's actively going. Like we used to have different, like Volcan de Fuego used to be in my backyard. I could literally see her through one of the windows that I had whenever I lived in Antigua. That one goes, Kaya goes, um, Kilauea, Etna. These are all volcanoes, and so it's oh goodness, sure. Um, it's all areas that need to just blow off some steam. Okay, you have a great time, Paul. Thanks for dipping in, and thanks for sharing about the animals. Sorry, I'm probably the one with the back and the diaphragm, tailbone, and arms. So I'm knitting right now, and my entire body is on high alert. I'm holding some healing space. Cosmic Blue Avian, take a deep breath in. Now look up. Just allow that white light and to come in from above for you. Because sometimes whenever we do the healing space for other people, sometimes we just need to expand that light out a bit wider to support us as we're doing that. Being called elsewhere. So much love to you, Annie Bear. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, guys, we're moving into the hips and the tushies, tailbones. Let's get our support base. And that's the one that is kind of a hidden tip, is if you are doing energy healing for other people, or you're holding space, or you're keeping them in your prayers, and you come away and you're feeling exhausted, literally look up and imagine allowing that light coming from above and flowing in, and not just a little trickle. I mean, I want you to imagine this enormous waterfall of energy coming in and around you, because as you do healing energy and healing work for others, you're not using your own personal energy. I think pretty much everybody makes that mistake when you first start off. But what you're doing is you need to use the universal energy, not your own personal energy. And you'll know that you've accidentally given away your own personal energy if you feel drained afterwards. You should feel really hyper almost after you've completed an energy healing. If you're feeling personally drained or tapped out, you've accidentally given away your own energy. So just imagine that light coming in and pouring all the way around you. And then you gift that overflow is what you're directing to the other person. And don't try to control the colors. The color will be whatever is needed in the moment, and it will change colors. Most times you'll see a bright white light, but other times it could be yellow, or maybe something that you normally would classify as a yucky color, but that person may actually be needing it. Or your own energy system could be needing it as a support because you've tried helping them, which, we're humans. We do this. We want to help each other out. It's natural. Humans tend to gift from our hearts as much as we can. But the key to that is the universe is the one that needs to provide the energy for that. I do. I do too. Humanity's saying, I love your posts, Annie Bear. Cosmic Blue Avian, thank you. I'm doing it right now. It feels better, doesn't it, when that happens? It's almost like you suddenly get this energy relief. It's like, oh, thank God. And yeah, I made that mistake too. That's why I can speak to that from authority, because I've done the same thing. Whenever I was younger, I used to have to rest up. It took me about 3 days to rest up after I had worked on somebody. And that was the problem, was I didn't realize it at the time. I was gifting my own energy. Oh, sure. Well, Cosmic Blue Avian, you can actually, the energy that I'm working with right now, you can direct that or intend for it to also be flowing to them, because I'm working through specific energy patterns right now. They're called meridians. And so whenever they go into an alignment, it helps to ease off that seizure thing that happened. And yeah, they'll have to go into a rest. That's another one that I heard too, because it's because our words and our languaging are very important. At the moment, I'm down around both ankles, the outer ankles. I've already worked through the knees and the calves and everything else. So now we're at the outer ankles. But with the languaging, the words "I'm tired" always bothered me, but I hadn't quite come up with something. But I came across one this week, and they said instead of saying "I'm tired," say "I'm recharging my batteries." Okay, now we're going down around the heels, through the soles of the feet, balls of the feet, and the toes, in between the toes. And we're going to ground that out into Mother Earth. Get those 10 points down there. Beautiful. Okay, let's go back up through the toes. We're going to bathe the big toe and the second toe in some extra light, because somebody's got a joint on the right toe that's kind of achy. Let's just get that cleansed. I'm going to set another energy pillow here for this person. So if you are a person who has like an ache in the joint of the big right toe or even the left toe, let's put a cucumber. We're carrying a cucumber color pillow there. So just allow that to be nice and soothing in that joint. And if you've got another toe that aches, feel free to just take that pillow and put it over there. Just imagine it in and around that toe. It's just a little bit longer lasting energy bubble. That way the body can use it as it's repairing itself. Now we're going to go ahead and have that energy come up the inner foot, up through the arch, sliding up through the inner ankle. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and come up through the inner legs. Go ahead and slide forward into this little guy. I love cheetahs. So we're on the inner calves. There's a specific point for the spleen in here that I'm going to get. Sometimes on top of our adrenals being achy, sometimes our spleen will also be imbalanced. And that can lead us to some indecisive energy. That's the wishy-washy. You can't make a decision to save your life, literally. And that can be the spleen imbalance. So we're going to power that up from below. There it goes. And of course, the spleen is one of those that we use for our digestion as well. Okay, now we're going to focus a bit more on both knees. And see, even cheetahs need to rest. Coming up the inner thighs. Into the lap. Lower belly. We're also going to do a little bit more around the hips. Somebody's got a really tender hip here. There we go. All through the tummy. Back up through the pericardium. Yeah, the right hip. Yeah, it was tight. Something to do with the gallbladder meridian. Probably because it's tight. Sometimes playing around with your stances with your feet can help with the musculature that's in and around the hip itself too. Go. And again, you may get some tummy gurgles as we're working around the tummy itself, loosening off the diaphragm, and then coming up into the lung space. Ooh, I'm going to be making a sound right quick for the lungs itself, because I know in this time and space we tend to have some challenges for our lungs. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, it's just a cleansing thing. Okay, now we're going to go somebody's pericardium. The pericardium is the heart sac, and it guards the heart and surrounds the heart. And it's just really feeling kind of achy on somebody today. So we're going to pump some energy into the heart and through the pericardium just to support all of it. If you feel this strange sensation like somebody's holding your heart, I literally am. So we're just going to go ahead and embrace this with some love. You may smell roses. And someone may be coughing just because of the lung stuff that we just did. There you go. Got it? Okay. Okay. Now we're going to go back up into the throat area, kind of soothing the throat. Some acid reflux for one person, but some sinus drainage for another. There we go. And then we'll go up into the face and the head. We're going to start off around the ears and the eustachian tube, lower jaw. Roots of the teeth and the teeth, upper and lower, tongue, back of the tongue, tonsils, throat, now into the sinus cavity, upper palate. And this may feel a little weird because it is going to also go right up underneath the eyes themselves. Sometimes we get an eye ache and it's actually just sinus drainage or sinus pressure rather that we have going on. It's all connected. Cleansing the eyes themselves and the tear ducts. And there's some ting points that are in and around the eyes, cheeks, nose. There it goes. And then around the skull, top of the skull. And back to the base of the skull. Alrighty. So there goes that for the energy balancing. Did anybody need anything extra while we're still doing the energy balancing? If I've put you to sleep, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just come back and you can re-listen. And lastly, I'm going to talk about we have come into another month where we may have stirrings of ghosts in the home or older energies in the home. And so I wanted to bring up that there are different options, but two of the most powerful ones are salt and, of course, sage. And during the energy healing, if you've done any yawning or if you've had tears, coughing, sneezing, burping, tummy gurgles, go ahead and get yourself a drink of water. That will help flush anything out of your system then. You're so welcome, Cosmic Blue Avian. Glad you enjoyed it. And that's just it. You can still hold them in your space and and definitely help them. You can direct that energy towards them. So, to talk about the sage, or the salt, even, you can place containers of salt in the four corners of your home for protection. This will help if you've got ghosts that are moving in and around the home. Same thing with the sage. You can absolutely use bundles of sage. You can light them to smoke or smudge in your home, but it is just as effective. I have found it to be just as effective if you don't want to do the fires, or the smoke. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're living in a shared space, or sometimes you're living in an apartment and you can't do the smudging. Then you can set bundles of sage in and around the home, and then the sage will also absorb that energy from the spirits. And then you can kind of tell, if you haven't had spirits visiting you for a while, then the sage is still doing its job. If your pets are uncomfortable, or if you're beginning to have where you can see things out of the shadows that happen out of the corner of your eyes, go ahead and just replace that bundle of sage. Get a fresh one down. The one thing that I will warn too with sage, a lot of times they're sold as bundles and they're already pre-wrapped with yarn or string. If you have pets, go ahead and remove that, because you don't want your animals or your pets accidentally ingesting that string or that yarn. It can be really tempting for them to play with it sometimes. And so loose sage will work just as well. It's how they package it, because a lot of times people will go ahead and smudge it. But you probably want to do that just as a prevention and a safety feature for them. And so we're moving towards the time when the veil naturally becomes thinner in October. Yeah, I'm growing sage. I need to learn to make the bundles. Basically, you cut it and you hang it up to dry. Or if you're lazy like me, you just leave it laying sideways, and occasionally you come through and rotate it. But as I was saying, this time of year, the veil is usually thinner, and a lot of times we'll get messages from those that we want to or will experience. But if you are feeling supremely drained, or if at any time you feel exhausted in your home or terrified in your home, then definitely go ahead and consider putting down some of the sage. Be careful if you do have pets that you don't leave the salt that's loose, but if you don't have pets or they don't have access to it, you can put it in a closed container. But you can also leave bowls. You want the four cardinal points of your home, so put it in the four corners of your home. And children, don't let your kids get a hold of it either. Sometimes forget kids, but yeah, basically anybody that's going to come along and think that that might be something that they should stick in their mouth, put it in a container that they can't get into, or you can put it up on high. But basically, what the salt does is it will create a barrier to prevent negative energies from being in and around the home. Anytime that you're doing a remodeling or a restructuring of the home, even though it might not be a natural time for the veils to be thinner, you may have ghosts that pop up. Sometimes it's just residuals, but sometimes it may be active, interactive ghosts that come through. So that's why I was bringing this up, just kind of a precaution for everybody. So we're just going to go back up through the slides just to hang out with our forest, our ghost forest. So that was kind of a theme, unless somebody wanted to see my little pink drink that I had, or if you have another preference that you would like to sit and look at. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the week. That was my tips and my stuff that came in. Is just that mostly, like I said, we've just come off of the motu of purification, and we have just landed in the month of peace. So it's a nice time to recharge your batteries and focus a little bit on yourself. And then for anybody that's interested, I do have MP3s available on my website. That's debbiedement.com. And I do also offer one-on-one sessions. What I'm doing here with the energy healing is an universal energy, but with a one-on-one session, we can laser focus in on what you've got going on. But that's also available on my website. And of course, I do have also, for those that know their birth sign for Lemuria, I also have those on my site. I've got different merchandise, and if you look at that, each one of them will contain information for the birth sign. Hi, Leah. How you doing today? Lovely to see you. Wawa nui. Oh, and the Stargate for this month is Wahi, which, as I said, is our sun. That's actually one of the cardinal signs because this is the month of the equinoxes. So the light and the day and the night are equal this month. So it's one of our balance points. Yeah, it's lovely to see you in here, Leah. I hope the world is treating you kindly. And since you didn't get to hear, since you just came in, Leah, the beach in front of you is Neskowin, and the stumps that are in front of you, these are now barnacle covered, but they're tree stumps from a forest. A ghost forest is what it was called, and they're 2,000 years old. When they were first exposed, they did not have the barnacles on them. They literally looked like just really wet tree stumps. It was so cool. But of course, over time, the barnacles have taken over. And I pretty much finished, but Leah, if you need anything extra with the energy, feel free, and I can certainly shoot you some extra energy. And of course, this, like I said, since it was universal energy balancing that I did today, the Meridians, that also worked for all of our pets. If you have horses or any of the larger animals or your birds, basically any animal can use the same meridian clearing that we did today. Golly, my poor internet's really struggling today. There it goes. Okay, so we got the Wi-Fi back. Nope, nothing from Leah. Okay, gang. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wind this down then. Thank you so much for coming along and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. And for anybody that wants to listen on the replay, the energies are still just as active on the replay as they are with the lives. Beautiful. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and wishing you a peaceful week ahead. I heard a peaceful journey, so someone may be journeying somewhere. So sending you much love, and wawa nui. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.